Song of the South has a remake. Who knew? Hey everyone, this is Josh from Movies Please. The Adventures of Brer Rabbit was released in 2006 from Universal Home Entertainment. Why am I reviewing it now? As you know, Disney is revamping Splash Mountain in its parks. They're removing all the characters tied to Song of the South. A common response I've seen to this is, why doesn't Disney just use characters like Brer Rabbit in other projects to try to distance the characters from the problematic movie they come from? The thing is, we know where those characters originated as far as which movie they came from, so it's impossible to remove that association. But in 2006, Universal tried with the direct-to-video release of The Adventures of Brer Rabbit. And I remember flipping through a magazine and back then and seeing an ad for it and thinking, ooh, should they do that? And that was almost 15 years ago, so even more so today. But is The Adventures of Brer Rabbit offensive? Should it be controversial due to its association with Song of the South? All I can do is tell you a little bit about the movie and let you decide for yourself. The Adventures of Brer Rabbit basically remakes Song of the South, but sets it in modern times. There's no Uncle Remus. Instead, we get Brer Turtle, voiced by Danny Glover. He tells the stories of Brer Rabbit to a little girl who's angry at her slightly older brother. The reason for their dispute, the older brother is hogging the TV remote. So obviously this is a movie for little kids. I'm talking like preschoolers. I cannot see any adults liking the movie from an artistic standpoint. There was one joke I laughed at. There was a visual gag. A group of bees, they formed this monster bee, and it looked silly enough that I kind of chuckled. But otherwise, The Adventures of Brer Rabbit is solely for the Nick Jr. crowd. To its credit, the movie feels its behind-the-scenes cast and crew with black talent. The director, Byron Vaughns, was one of the sequence directors for Tiny Toons' How I Spent My Summer Vacation, one of my favorite movies as a kid. Also worth noting that Tad Stones, the producer behind several Disney afternoon hits of the 90s, he worked on this. And according to an interview with Animation World Network, Stones had intended for The Adventures of Brer Rabbit to launch a series of movies. Of course, that never panned out, at least not yet. The animation looks similar to that of Charlotte's Web 2, which received a lot of flack for its look. Granted, the animation looks a little better here, a little more polished, but still, it's not really theatrical quality. As for the voice acting, Nick Cannon, who's embroiled in his own controversy these days, actually does alright as Brer Rabbit, bringing a really nice energy to the role. Other actors include an unrecognizable Wayne Brady, vocally as Brer Wolf, D.L. Hewley as Brer Fox, and Wanda Sykes as Sister Moon. There are a couple of original songs, one gospel, one hip-hop, one standard musical tune, kind of a grab bag. The only one I really remember is one, it goes something like, jubilation, celebration, something, finally seen the light. I mean, I don't know. There's a hip-hop song at a party, and yes, I'm still talking about The Adventures of Brer Rabbit, and the lyrics go, and I quote, "Everybody work it, everybody work it, everybody work it." That's a quote. And I mean, this is quality Alan Menken stuff here, Howard Ashman couldn't have written it better. But snark aside, let's quickly talk about the stories here themselves. Again, this is an anthology with several stories forming one larger narrative. And I can't tell you which of these tales were based off Joel Chandler Harris's original works. But all the stories here are pretty simple. The most peculiar one being a backstory of how talking animals arrived on Earth. Apparently Brer Rabbit ticked off Sister Moon and caused the constellation animals to fall down here from out of the sky. Yeah, that one's kind of out of left field. That one is very unlike the other stories. Another funny aspect of this movie is the animals' interaction with each other. One minute they're trying to eat each other, the next minute they're partying together. And one of the characters tries to explain that like, well, it just depends what mood we're in, whether or not we want to eat each other. And this being a kid's movie, I don't want to think too deeply about it, but it is funny how 90% of these animals are trying to eat Brer Rabbit. And at one point he outsmarts them, he outsmarts each of them, and his outsmarting them hurts their feelings. So they don't invite him to a party. And apparently, according to the movie, that makes Brer Rabbit in the wrong. Because he outsmarted them and he hurt their feelings, he's in the wrong, according to the movie. You know, it's like Brer Rabbit was too mean for not getting eaten. And don't even get me started on a scene where they all go fishing, because apparently fish are the one creature without souls. There's even a shot of a character surrounded by fish carcasses with the dead fish's faces twisted in horror. So, you know, but I digress. Look, it's a kid's movie. That said, I was surprised that they included the Tar Baby story. In fact, the movie kind of builds up to it as the big final act. And if you didn't like any other version of the story, you're not going to like it here. And I'm kind of puzzled why they included it, knowing its controversy, when the rest of the movie is very careful and PC. So I don't really understand that. But ultimately, The Adventures of Brer Rabbit is a movie I can't recommend, but for reasons different than usual. Should you watch it? Well, if you're an adult, no, you'll be bored. If you're offended by Brer Rabbit and other characters from Song of the South, no, this movie won't change your mind. If you have little kids, I guess artistically speaking, it's not the worst movie, but again, I keep thinking about recent events and Disney slowly erasing Brer Rabbit from its parks and other media, and I think, is there a place for the character in today's culture? According to Wikipedia, though, Universal is re-releasing the movie in 2021, and it's still available to rent on several platforms. Maybe it's just slipping under everyone's radar, who knows. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Movies Please. Thanks for watching.